You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Our top story at this hour, as students in Parkland head to the Tallahassee to the state capitol to rally for gun control, we're learning new details about what administrators at the accused shooter's previous school knew about him. ABC's Maggie Rulli has the latest on the case.
From survivors to activists.
Going to Tallahassee and trying to do something about it, I feel like that's helping a lot, getting my minds off of it.
Students from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School are busing the 400 miles from Parkland to Tallahassee, spreading the message of their new movement, Never Again.
I'm committed to making sure no child is going to be scared going to a classroom. That's what they're going to achieve.
And demanding lawmakers take action after their classmates were killed in Wednesday's mass shooting on campus.
We are focusing on gun rights and mental health.
They've inspired protests across the country.
Enough is enough!
Yet as they fight to change the future, now more questions about the suspected school shooter's past. New documents show school administrators were aware of his obsession with guns. A so-called education plan from a school for emotionally disturbed students, which he attended before Stoneman Douglas High, reveals the school board was aware that he was preoccupied with wars, terrorism, and people getting killed.
He posted pictures of like 15 or more firearms just on his bed. Like this was normal. Like you could even see a hamper in the background. That's how how ordinary this was to him. He talked about killing our parents, our friends, boyfriends, and girlfriends.
The school's principal sent a robocall out to families saying their goal is to resume classes on a modified schedule starting Tuesday, February 27th, although some teachers may come back as soon as this Friday. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
A youth baseball team in Missouri is getting national attention for raffling an AR-15 rifle to raise money for traveling expenses. Father of one of the players is the co-founder of a local gun manufacturer which provided the gun. The raffle was organized before last week's school shooting in Parkland, which involved an AR-15. The city's mayor says the timing is unfortunate, but he supports the raffle and thinks opposition to it is coming from people who live elsewhere.
Been overwhelmed with a lot of positive support. I mean, the majority of it in this area is almost all the people are in support.
The mayor added that gun raffles are not uncommon in that area and that he even lets his own children shoot AR-15s. Happening today, Governor Rick Scott will meet with leaders from across the state to talk about how to combat violence in our schools. Teachers, school administrators, members of law enforcement, mental health experts, and state agency leaders will all attend the workshops in Tallahassee, among them school officials from Sarasota and Manatee counties. The goal is to come up with a plan to implement safety procedures at our schools. Manatee County officials still dealing with threats toward multiple schools there. The district sent out a robocall warning parents and students about a threat toward Braden River Middle School. A school district spokesperson says the threat was made on social media but did not give any details. No arrests have been made yet. The threat remains under investigation. New developments on the threatening social media post against Riverview High School as well. Riverview's acting principal sent an update Monday night to parents on a threat originally reported over the weekend. The email states the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office has found the student accused of posting a threatening message on social media. That student is not in school today, and Riverview is operating as normal today. Sarasota County schools are taking action in hopes of improving safety and security following that mass shooting in Parkland. The school board calling an emergency executive session yesterday to brainstorm ways to improve safety and security. The district is also asking parents and students for their ideas. Meanwhile, school board chairwoman Bridget Ziegler and Booker High School principal Rachel Shelley are both in Tallahassee today to be part of that governor's school safety task force.
Local leaders around the state are having these similar conversations like we are here in Sarasota County, and then filtering that back up to the state level. Those are the things that I think you'll be able to see immediate action.
Manatee County also has representatives from the school district in Tallahassee today. Remember, for the latest on school safety efforts as well as breaking news, plus your forecast here on the Suncoast, you can get our new app. Find it at the App Store under WWSB or My Suncoast. A new business is breaking ground today in Sarasota's Newtown community, and it's expected to help revitalize that area. Miss Susie's will be Newtown's newest restaurant. Representatives from the City of Sarasota, Sarasota Chamber of Commerce, and other local groups on hand for the ceremony. The restaurant will also serve as a hospitality training ground for members of the community, all while bringing a new and affordable restaurant to the neighborhood. Organizers say they're happy to see the community continue to grow.
This location, because it's right in the middle of Newtown, we really want to get into the dynamic of the area, be right in the neighborhood. Had a great relationship with Mrs. Upshaw and Mayor Shaw, and they felt like this was a great location to be our first initial concept to go down here in Newtown. So,
Miss Susie's will have up to 15 employees once it's built, with the goal of getting them all trained to jumpstart their careers in the hospitality industry. Great idea. We'll let you know when that restaurant is open. And today on the Suncoaster, again, we're watching the thermometer and the potential for some record-breaking heat, because we broke a record yesterday, right?
Yes, we sure did. Yeah, 87 degrees. It's really, really warm. And today, you know what? We'll probably break the record today, because the record's 85, which is even lower than it was yesterday. Yeah. So that's likely. Tomorrow is going to be a little tougher, because the high is a little bit higher, but. You know what? It's going to be a little warmer tomorrow too, because I don't think we'll have this morning cloud cover that we've had around here. So we could actually break 3 records in a row. Wow. I mean, it's not inconceivable. A little cloud cover to start the morning. Yes, that's true. We even had a little bit of a sprinkle and a misty kind of a shower near the coastline this morning, with a little upper level system that moved on through. Kind of a surprise. Otherwise, I think we're probably going to see a lot more afternoon sun than we saw morning sun, and it won't take much to boost our temperatures. No rainfall in the afternoon forecast. We do have some showers down to our south. What you see there that's not real rainfall. That's false echo chaff from military aircraft. We do have a little bit of cloud cover, but we're transitioning from that kind of opaque deck of cloud to more cellular clouds in nature, so we're getting some sunshine through those clouds, and it won't take much sunshine to boost our temperature from where we are now, which is near 80, to up near the 87-degree mark, which of course would set the new record. Then as we head into the evening hours, we're down into the 70s. We'll talk about how hot I think we'll get tomorrow, which is even warmer than I think we'll get today, and if there's any relief from the heat in sight, coming up in a few. Scott?
Hope so. All right. Thank you, John. A former member of Congress spoke in Sarasota this morning about what he calls America's collapsing democracy. The Sarasota Institute of Lifetime Learning hosted former Oklahoma GOP Congressman Mickey Edwards at the First United Methodist Church. Edwards says the country is in the middle of a great divide, and it's been brewing for years.
We're almost like 2 rival countries right now within the same space, and it's fraying. There are people who don't trust each other. There are people who won't listen to the same broadcast. There are people who, just think the other side is just evil, and we've lost our common narrative, our common belief that we're one country.
Edwards says President Trump did not cause the rift, but he says the president is the result of it. It's not too late to hear Edwards in person. He will make another appearance this afternoon from 2:30 to 3:30 at the Venice Community Center on South Nokomis Avenue. Suncoast Congressman Tom Rooney will speak to a crowd in Nokomis tonight, just one day after announcing he will not run for re-election. The U.S. representative shared a statement on Twitter saying it's time to hang him up after 10 years in Congress. The Republicans' multi-county district includes southern Sarasota County. Tonight, Rooney is scheduled to be a guest speaker at a Republican event at the Nokomis Community Center. And Rooney's departure could give the newly created 17th District its first Suncoast area representative. Rooney is based in Okeechobee, in a large district that runs from Venice to Lake Okeechobee. ABC 7's Ray Collins has a closer look at that. Ray?
Yeah, Scott, Rooney's decision was a big surprise in local political circles here. With Congressman Rooney stepping aside, there are a number of scenarios with various state senators running for Congress and members of the state House perhaps running to fill the state Senate seat vacated. But why is Rooney planning to retire? Well, he says it was time, but one local political author thinks Rooney feared the GOP losing a majority on Capitol Hill this November.
Tom Rooney is a conservative Republican congressman in a very conservative Republican district. He would have no trouble getting reelected this November, even if it's a wave for the Democrats. So for him to leave, I suspect it's because he doesn't want to be in the minority in Congress. He's been in the majority in the House. He gets to chair committees and subcommittees, and suddenly, if he's in the minority after November, he doesn't get to do much of anything.
In Congress now since 2009. This should be an interesting few months to see who throws their hat in the ring. Scott?
All right, Ray, thank you. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why a new study suggests getting your flu shot could help your risk of heart attacks, and how a crew was saved after some tense moments when their scaffolding malfunctioned 17 stories up. Stay with us.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in an accident, whether or not it's your fault, your insurance company might be responsible for some of your expenses. So give us a call. We've got your back.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
If you've never truly loved your car, you've clearly never owned a Subaru. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 most trusted brand, best overall brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease the all-new 2018 Subaru Impreza for just $195 a month for 42 months with zero due at signing. That's right, not one penny. Get more for your money during the Subaru True Love event at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we are looking at temperatures across the region, which are pretty close to the low 80s everywhere you look, except for Longboat Key, which is still coming in at 75. 73 in Sarasota, 2 more degrees, and we tie a record 3 and we break a record. We're going to break the record today. There's no doubt about it. And I think that'll be the second day in a row for a broken record. Probably tomorrow we might get close to breaking the record again. So pretty significant weather here on the Sun Coast, and the number of 80-degree days is impressive as well. So the heat wave continues, and no end in sight, at least for the next 7 to 10 days. 82 Wauchula, 82 Arcadia, Myakka, the same parish ditto, Bradenton 82, Lakewood Ranch 82, Northport 82, Inglewood 80, Venice 81. Dew point values are still okay, they're comfortable, 68, that's all right. Get into the 70s and it starts to feel really sticky. It's not quite as good as it was yesterday with dew points a few degrees lower than this, but still 68 is okay. 83-degree air temperature, a fair amount of cloud cover out there. I think we'll start to see some of that cloud cover begin to mix away, a little bit more sunshine, and that will allow for the temperatures to continue to rise. Southeast wind breezy at about 14, and that little southerly component to the easterly wind that we had yesterday is the reason we have increased dew point values around the region. We have some scattered showers still remaining down to the south. I think we'll start to see those kind of mix away as we head into the afternoon. It's not a big threat to us. Is it possible that 1 or 2 of those could move into particularly inland areas? Yes, it's possible. I saw that yesterday. Probably see it again today. Chance maybe about 10%. That's about it. And I don't think we'll see anything that will give us appreciable rainfall. So not putting rain in the forecast today. But I wouldn't be shocked to see one pop up in inland areas. As I mentioned, this is false echo. It's, well, actually, it's not false echo. It's really there. It's just little strips of aluminum dropped by aircraft to confuse radar in a military training exercise. So that's not real rain, and it is not going to in any way impact our weather. You can see there's no clouds around in this area. We do have had a little bit of thicker cloud cover, but now it's kind of giving way to this really little dotted cellular cloud cover that we get, and there's lots of room for sunshine to go through those clouds and heat things up. So we are on our way to about 87 for a daytime high today, I think. And then as we head into the evening hours, we'll probably taper off the temperatures a little slower than we did yesterday, a little bit, just because of the extra humidity in the air. So 76 degrees by about 7 p.m. by midnight, 72. When you wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures will be hovering around the 70-degree mark. And I think it'll be just a beautiful morning with a lot of sunshine to start the day and little in the way of any kind of fog or rain chance tomorrow morning. East wind shifts southeast, coming in at about 10 knots out on the open waters with 2-foot seas and a light chop. And the 7-day forecast looks pretty warm. 87 today, 87 tomorrow, or 88 rather, a little bit warmer. And then as we head into Thursday, 87 degrees. Then we start to talk about maybe a little bit of cooling each and every day as we head into the weekend. But even so, with an 83-degree temperature, if we call that cooling, it's still about 10 degrees warmer than our average temperature would be at this time of year. So the heat wave continues. Back to you.
All right, John, thank you. In Health Mart, the flu shot may do more than just protect you from the flu. It apparently could also be good for your heart. According to doctors at Public Health Ontario, the vaccine may protect people from heart attacks, especially those who are at higher risk of having one. Some in the medical community say the flu shot could be like taking high blood pressure medication. Doctors say a combination of inflammation, an increased risk of blood clotting, and the stress the flu puts on your body could be factors that might lead to heart attacks in some people. Well, everyone knows exercise leads to a healthier life, but what if you are not a big fan of going to the gym? If this describes you, there are still plenty of ways to stay fit. ABC 7's Stephanie Webb is here with some tips today. Stephanie?
Thanks, Scott. The benefits of physical activity are well known. Better health, less stress, can even fight depression. But you don't have to be in the gym every day to reap the rewards of exercise. Here are some tips from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. First, get social. Instead of those cocktails and dinner, try a more physical group activity, new yoga class, or maybe even go for a hike. Maybe even play an exercise-based video game. Second, and this is a big one, find ways to move at work. If you can't use a standing desk, try standing during phone calls or choose a printer that is far away from your desk. Third, do something new. A new skill or an unusual activity can kickstart your motivation. Try a boating class, a dance class, or maybe even sign up for a softball league. And four, just dive in. Even if you don't like to sweat in the heat, just head for the water. This is an easy one for us here on the Suncoast. You can take a swim class at the community pool, join a water aerobics class, or just head to the beach. And finally, stay on track. Keep track of all that activities. There's so many great apps out there and wearable technology. You can take advantage of tracking sites online. Another good idea, always talk to your doctor. They might have some personal workout recommendations for you as well. Scott?
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Let's head over to the kitchen now and say hello to Chef Deepa, who joins us today from the Indian table. Deepa, great to have you with us today. What are you preparing for us?
Good morning. So I'm going to be preparing beef kofta with a tamarind and maple glaze, sprinkled with a cinnamon and chili yogurt.
I just had a very educational ride with Nina.
Did you learn anything?
Where do I begin? So all this stuff goes into a safety check.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's important stuff.
Test the smoke detector.
Yep.
Check the breaker box.
Yep.
Meter the GFCIs.
Ground fault circuit interrupters.
Well, I knew that.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Nina, you make it look easy.
Thanks, but don't do it yourself.
Who's your guy?
Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Thousands of award-winning Honda SUVs are on sale from $189 a month during the Honda President's Day sales event. You've got to see these SUVs. Get a surprisingly spacious 2018 HR-V, $189 a month, or step up to Pilot for $289 a month with available seating for 8. Plus, we have Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, the 2018 CR-V, and Ridgeline, a Car and Driver's 10 Best. All on sale for up to $3,805, less than the competition at your local Honda dealer.
Fact: the top 3 Marriott hotels in North and South America are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, according to a recent survey of 363 Marriott hotels. The Marriott at Grand National, the Marriott Shoals Hotel, and the Grand Hotel. And 2 of the top 3 Renaissance hotels are also on the trail: Ross Bridge in Birmingham and the Battle House in Mobile. Southern hospitality still rules. For reservations or information, visit rtjgolf.com/resorts.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC 7 shows on your streaming device.
Caught on camera, it's not every day a cougar walks up to your house and peeks into your front window, but that's exactly what happened to a Wisconsin family. Take a look here. The family spotted tracks near their house, but they didn't know what was making them, so they checked their home security camera and saw the big cat wander right up to the window and look inside. Animal officials estimate that cougar to be about 50 pounds and about 1.5 years old. Police said it appeared to be very passive and may have been hit by a car or hurt. A violent road rage incident in New Hampshire leaves one woman on the ground, shoved by an angry driver, and it was all recorded by a shocked driver at the same signal. Police say a male driver and the woman behind him had some sort of altercation that peaked when both cars stopped at the light. The video shows the tense moments that followed as the female driver is pushed to the ground. Police say drivers need to protect themselves in incidents like this as they try to determine if anyone will face charges. And a dangerous rescue yesterday in Jacksonville as 2 men dangled from the 17th floor of a building for about 30 minutes. There was apparently an electrical problem with their scaffolding, which caused them to become stuck. A crowd gathered below to watch as a special operations team finally rescued the workers from the roof unharmed. Let's get back to the kitchen now. John is with our guest today, Chef Deepa from the Indian Table. John?
Well, we aren't climbing any scaffolding today, but we are getting into an area of food that I wish I knew more about, which is Indian food. I know I love to eat your food. You have fantastic tastes in your food, but you know, I just don't know enough about how to go about doing it.
Great. Well, today we'll be able to do a quick demonstration for you.
Great.
So we're going to be making beef kofta today. Kofta are the Indian equivalent to a meatball.
Okay.
But they're spiced with our warm garam masala flavors and a bit of ginger and garlic. So
tell the folks at home, garam masala is kind of a blend of different spices.
Absolutely,
kind of like curry would be in a way, kind of a blend of spices,
yes,
sort of.
Right.
And this spice, garam masala, contains what ingredients?
It contains cloves, it contains 2 types of cardamom, a green cardamom and a brown cardamom as well. It contains cumin, and really the recipes vary from household to household, to chef. So I have my own recipe. I prefer it more strong and more robust, whereas you may go to another household where the garam masala tastes different. And of course, it lends a different flavor to each dish that you're using it in. So it's quite unique.
They use it as, if I'm not mistaken, tell me if I'm wrong, they use it like in India, like the Italians would use balsamic vinegar. It's bequeathed to daughters, and it's kind of part of the marriage ritual.
Absolutely.
And everything. Yeah,
right.
So that's really cool.
Good. And in contemporary food now, we can sprinkle a bit on boiled eggs, or we can sprinkle a bit on salad. You can really get creative with it.
Neat. So those meatballs have those flavors in them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to take you quickly through the ingredients, what I put in these to create these meatballs. So we basically have some ground beef here. You can use chicken, turkey, or lamb if you had it. And to that, we're going to add some garam masala. It's a very, very simple recipe. And I'm going to add some chili powder as well, because we like a little bit of spice, not too much. I'm going to turmeric. This is what gives the sort of yellow Indian food flavor and color. I'm going to add a bit of salt, and this is fresh ground garlic, which we need. And usually we add fresh ginger, but to this one I'm going to add ground ginger, simply because we want to keep the meatball dry so it doesn't leach water. So we're going to add some ginger and then some cilantro, and then you just stir that up. And then if you're at home, if you use a food processor to do this, it will give you a smoother finish, which is what I've done for the ones that I made earlier, but you don't have to. So you can mix this up, and then you roll them into little balls, or even burgers if you want to just stick them on the grill. That would be a nice alternative.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you chill them or anything?
I chill them overnight just to let the flavors mingle, but you don't have to do that. So these are the ones that I made earlier. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let you do the honors of sauteing these guys off. So some canola oil in a hot pan.
And they're good to go.
They're good to go, yes.
Here we go.
So
right in the pot they go.
Right.
All right. And then while
So
those
we're
are
gonna
cooking, I'll tend to those. What are you going to be doing?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the I'm going to talk to you about the tamarind glaze and also about the yogurt that I have here. So we're going to make a cinnamon and chili yogurt, which is a very, very simple recipe. So we're always using plain yogurt here, and I'm going to add some cinnamon to it.
Do you have a favorite kind of yogurt?
I use whole milk yogurt. I never use the fat-free kind because I think that it lends a better flavor and it's creamier.
I'm with you.
And it's good for you too. And then I'm going to add to that some chili powder right there, and a pinch of salt, and that's our glaze done, the yogurt glaze.
And that's it? Well,
Yeah,
now
and then I'm
obviously
gonna
this
talk
would
to-
take a little bit longer to cook the meatballs,
Right,
but after they
right.
are cooked, then the idea is just pop them right on the...
Well, what we're going to do is once these are browned off and cooked properly, we're going to add a tamarind glaze. So when we talk about Indian flavors, there's a variety of different tastes. We talk about the contrast between spicy, sweet, tangy. So we're going to add the tangy and sweet to these
About
meatballs.
15 seconds left.
Absolutely, no problem. So what we will do is it's a tamarind glaze, which is just from a tamarind concentrate, some maple syrup, and we'll just add that onto the meatballs.
Oh, that looks so good. Want to remind
Yeah.
everybody the recipe for this is on our website,
Absolutely.
mysuncoast.com.
Right.
And you will be presenting at an event at Libby's coming up.
Absolutely. It's a very, very exciting, unique event that we're going to be pairing wine and cocktails with Indian food, which is something that we've never done in Sarasota before.
And
so
the date of that is?
It's the 22nd of February, which is this coming Thursday between the hours of 5 and 8.
Sounds fun. Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.
Packing
So
it up.
there we
Here's
have
the
it.
final product over here
I'm just
after
gonna-
the yogurt dressing is put on. It looks absolutely
go.
fantastic.
And this is done.
Will this be an item served at Libby's?
Absolutely. It's going to be an item served.
There
one of
you
the most
go.
delicious ones, and we have a brilliant drink that we're pairing with it.
Deepa,
so-
thanks so much for coming in
You're
today.
welcome. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you could buy today. And named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Coming up, why a new poll suggests Americans blame Congress and President Trump for not doing enough to prevent mass shootings. Plus, where a Manatee County girl was found nearly a day after she was first reported missing by her mother. And what more roadway construction on Bee Ridge Road could mean for local businesses.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story this half hour. After the funeral for one of the 17 victims of the school shooting in South Florida, parents in Parkland will board charter buses headed for Tallahassee to demand that state lawmakers take action. ABC's Tara Palmieri is in Washington as officials figure out steps to tackle this issue.
Survivors of the massacre at Stoneman Douglas High School piling into cars and vans, demanding action from Florida lawmakers. After one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history, 6 in 10 Americans blame the White House and Congress for not doing enough to prevent mass shootings. According to that ABC Washington Post poll, 77% say better mental health screening and treatment are the solution. Only 58% say stricter gun control could have prevented the massacre, down from 2 years ago.
People are frustrated that the gun control debate has not moved for as long as it has, but they're also flummoxed as to what to do about it.
This week, the president shifted his position on gun control. The White House said he's open to tougher background checks for gun purchases. This is the first time the administration has addressed the issue of gun violence. President Trump has spoken to Texas Senator Cornyn about a bill that calls for updating the instant background check system. The NRA supports this bill.
The Cornyn bill is sort of the least you can do in terms of fixing the background system. The fact that the NRA is on board for it tells you a little bit about how impactful it would be.
The same Russian bot army that sought to disrupt the 2016 elections tried to divide the country over the gun control debate. Hours after the Parkland shooting, the New York Times reports that Twitter accounts linked to Russia created hashtags on both sides of the debate. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump tweeting his support for Mitt Romney's Senate run in Utah. The endorsement comes after the two have traded barbs in the past, but now President Trump says he believes Romney would make a great senator and serve as a worthy successor to Orrin Hatch, who will retire after serving for 4 decades. Romney was among the top Republican critics of President Trump during the 2016 presidential race. The former Massachusetts governor tweeted a thank you to the president after the endorsement. New at noon, special counsel Robert Mueller is leveling charges against a lawyer for lying to investigators. The lawyer is accused of lying about his interaction with former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates in September of 2016. The lawyer is also accused of lying about not turning over an email to the special counsel's office. He's expected to plead guilty during a hearing set for this afternoon. Happening in Florida, Vice President Mike Pence will be on the East Coast to visit NASA's Kennedy Space Center. The Vice President will tour the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station launch facilities and take part in a commercial spaceflight reception. Air Force 2 is scheduled to touch down at the center's former shuttle landing facility around 5:30 this afternoon. This is the Vice President's second trip to KSC since July of last year. School officials in the Florida Keys say more students are taking free and reduced meals since Hurricane Irma hit that area. The Monroe County School District is currently being hit with a $400 a day deficit due to the increase in free and reduced meals. 59% of students in the county are now part of the federal meal program. That number was in the 30s before Irma hit the area. An 11-year-old Orlando girl is safe after being abducted by someone she met on a PlayStation game. Investigators say she and her suspected abductor, John Burns, were tracked down at a hotel near Macon, Georgia. They say Burns started communicating with the girl through PlayStation games, posing as another teenage girl. He also talked to her on the phone before driving down from Illinois to meet her. Investigators found them by tracking the girl's cell phone and using some information from her mom.
Her mother had given us information in reference to a particular individual she was chatting with, and that's kind of what drew us in that direction.
Investigators say the girl was not physically harmed and was reunited with her parents in Orange County. Charges are still pending against Burns, who is being held now in Georgia. A Manatee County 12-year-old girl is safe after being reported missing. Jalissa Shannon's grandfather says she was staying at a cousin's house and she was reported missing Sunday night. Her family says they were relieved to learn that she was safe after receiving a text message from her just before 6 o'clock last night.
I'm feeling a whole lot better, you know, now that we did hear from her texting my oldest granddaughter, and I'm just glad to hear about it, and I'm hoping soon that she'll be home.
Jalissa is the sister of 13-year-old Janessa Shannon, who went missing in July and was later found murdered. Her father is charged with that murder. Florida lawmakers will spend the last 3 weeks of the session making decisions about education. Starting today, legislators will debate a number of education bills that address everything from school bullies to teachers and university tuition. Lawmakers are considering creating a Hope Scholarship program that would allow public school students who are bullied to receive scholarships to attend private schools. But the Senate's version is different from the House's when it comes to funding for that program. And just a reminder, today is the last day to register to vote to take part in next month's special election involving Sarasota County schools. In March, voters will decide whether to renew the $1 mil referendum funding. $1 mil is equal to $1 for every $1,000 of a taxable assessed value of a home. The Sarasota County School District says if the measure is renewed, it will bring in about $56 million in 2018 to Sarasota County schools. Time now to get a check on our weather on this Tuesday with meteorologist John Scalzi as we watch the temperatures go up.
Once again, boy, it's been a very warm month. It could well end up being warmest month on record.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's looking that way anyway. We have, of course, our birds are out there this morning. They're enjoying themselves out there in the lovely warm weather. They got maybe a little bit of a sprinkle this morning, or mist, I guess we could say, but they're doing well. I've gotten a couple of emails asking how they're doing, and they're doing just fine. Thank you very much. They're available for viewing, of course, on our website, mysuncoast.com. Sarah and Soda hopefully laying some eggs pretty soon. Sarasota Bay webcam put into motion shows the cloud cover that started off the morning kind of giving way to a little bit more sunshine this afternoon, and I think we'll probably see those temperatures respond accordingly. In fact, they already have. Over the last hour, we have risen up into the 80s, so we are well on the way to breaking another record today, the record 85, and we're at 83, so, you know, that's not going to be hard to do, I don't think. A little bit of fair weather cloudiness out there right now, very cellular in nature, so there's a lot of sun getting through. We'll go with 87 as a daytime high today, about like yesterday. 76 degrees as we head into the evening hours with a mix of clear skies and fair weather clouds. I don't see any rainfall in the overnight forecast. Forecast for the rest of the week coming up in just a few. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. A teenage driver blames his GPS for accidentally leading him onto secured property at NSA headquarters in Maryland last week, and that led to police to open fire on him and his two passengers. Now they're talking about the terrifying incident. Brad Bell has their story.
From Skytrack 7, we could see the bullet holes in the windshield of the SUV. Moments earlier, police at the super-secret National Security Agency had opened fire on that car and the 3 people inside after their unauthorized vehicle went through a checkpoint and didn't immediately make a U-turn as ordered. Now, we're hearing from those who were in the car.
It was a wrong turn, the GPS. It was terrifying, you know what I'm saying? I was scared enough, I thought it was over.
Those are the voices of the 17-year-old driver of that rented SUV and the front seat passenger. Both have asked not to be identified. They describe an innocent wrong turn onto NSA property that went terribly wrong when the unlicensed teen driver came face to face with police and made a nearly fatal mistake. The 17-year-old says he was driving because his older friend was tired, and he said he simply panicked when an officer came to his window and another pounded on his hood, so he tore off.
What was it like for you in there?
It was like scary, you know. He just kept shooting. He shot the front windshield and the side windshield and the back windshield out.
The teen has stitches on his head, he says, from being grazed, and a mark, he says, from a taser on his face. None of the three in the car have so far been charged with anything. Federal authorities haven't said much about the sequence of events, but a law enforcement source says the whole incident could have been averted had the young driver simply stopped and turned when ordered to.
Brad Bell reporting there. The driver actually evaded authorities for a full minute. Officials say they now know the whole thing was indeed a mistake, but at the time they had no way of knowing it was not an attack. Here on the Suncoast, here's something you won't see every day. A picture of one of those things that makes you ask how. Northport Police sending this picture out this morning. The driver was backing into a parking spot and somehow backed over a median into a handicap sign, crushing the trunk of the car. Certainly caused a lot of interest to shoppers at the Walmart store where it happened. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Business owners along Bee Ridge Road in Sarasota say customers are slowly returning to their stores now that roadway improvements are complete. But starting in March, a section of Bee Ridge Road will see even more construction. Crews will begin resurfacing work and drainage improvements on the stretch of road from just east of McIntosh Road to Cattleman Road.
I would say there's definitely less traffic on Bee Ridge now, or maybe it's just flowing better because the way they've recycled things.
The project will cost about $3.4 million. It's scheduled to be complete by the fall. Drivers should expect nighttime lane closures while crews are working. Meanwhile, planned improvements to downtown Venice are on hold after bids come in much higher than expected. The project to replace several downtown roads and sidewalks was originally budgeted at $6 million, but recent bids from local construction companies came in at more than $10 million. Now, the city has to decide what to do next.
Well, they're a little higher than we'd like to see them. I think it's feasible, but we're going to have to look at what the needs are versus the wants.
The Venice City Council will now have to decide whether to cut things from the project or increase funding. Starting this week, you don't have to wait until the weekend to shop at the farmers market. You can visit vendors at the Rosemary Sunset Farmers Market, which happens at Cityside starting Thursday. It's led by the Sarasota Farmers Market and will be held every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. through mid-April. You can find it in the Rosemary District at the intersection of Coconut Avenue and May Lane. It will be similar to the weekly farmers market downtown with local produce, food, and music. Still to come in your Suncoast News, what an airplane passenger is now saying after calling for a flight attendant to lose her job when she refused to move her seat.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you too.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Sarasota Opera's 2018 Winter Opera Festival is here, featuring Puccini's Manon Lescaut, Bizet's Carmen, Bellini's Norma, and D'Albert's rarely heard Tieflant. For more information, go to sarasotaopera.org.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Bring on the bright colors. Spring fashions are here. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, it is not always easy to look great and be comfortable at the same time. We have a fashion show from Ariel Clothing SRQ with trendy floral fabrics and comfy designs. The Players Center brings Woody Allen's Bullets Over Broadway, plus help with women with bladder issues, and the Culinary Restaurant in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
83 degrees, the air temperature in Sarasota, 83 at Lakewood Ranch now, 83 in Parrish, 83 in Bradenton. These temperatures up a couple of degrees over the last hour. 83 degrees in Mayaca, Northport at 83, Venice at 82, and Inglewood at 80. Well on the way to seeing a record-breaking temperature today. All we got to do is get up another 2 degrees, and we've tied the record, and I think we'll be able to do that. Southeast wind coming in breezy at 14 right now, and a mix of sun and fair weather clouds out there. Dew point value still comfortable at 68 degrees. Don't want it to get it too much higher than that, though. When dew points are in the 70s, most people would agree that it's starting to feel a little bit muggy, and it's too soon for that, right? So we're going to leave it in the 60s, let's hope. We've got a little bit of false echo out in Gulf waters and a little bit of real echo down in the southern tip of the state, but I don't think those are really going to impact us all that much. I think we're going to look at some pretty quiet weather around here. Possible that we could get an isolated shower in inland areas a little bit later on today. Yeah, it's possible, but the rain chance is small. I wouldn't put it at more than about 10%. The thicker cloud cover that we had, kind of a little upper level feature, kind of moving away now, and we are left with these little teeny cellular clouds. These are fair weather clouds for the most part, and I think as we head into the afternoon, we'll likely see the sunshine poking between those clouds boost our temperature up to about 87 degrees, which is pretty warm for this time of year. We'll have a daytime high temperature, as I mentioned, probably around 87 by about 3 p.m. I think that's about the time it happened yesterday, and I think that's about the time it'll happen again today. Then we'll get to 76 degrees by 7 p.m. and 72 as we head into the overnight. We'll look for the winds to continue out of the southeast and a little bit of cloud cover from time to time moving through. By 6 o'clock this evening, you'll be seeing temperatures that'll start to fall in a lot of coastal locations down into the 70s, and then certainly by the overnight tonight getting into the 70s most everywhere. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, we'll have temperatures in the low 70s or perhaps even a few upper 60s around as well. And then we'll start to warm right back up again. A lot of rain showers back to the west associated with a low pressure area that lifts off to the north. That has no chance of bringing us colder weather as high pressure remains our dominant weather feature. Lots of sunshine, no rain, warm afternoon temperatures, but plenty of rain along that frontal boundary. In fact, there could be some flooding rains in parts of the Ohio Valley, stretching right back into parts of the Arklatex. There is as much as perhaps 4 to 6 inches of rainfall possible with some showers and thunderstorm activity in that area. Southeast wind comes in at about 5 to 10 knots today. Should be nice out there. Light chop. Not much in the way of any kind of inclement weather forecast. 87 degrees today, tomorrow 88, and then 87 again on Thursday. 3 days when records may be challenged. And then we'll start to see some cooling begin to take place. That'll carry us into the weekend. Even with the cooling, we'll still run around 10 degrees above the average for this time of year. Back to you, Scott.
Thank you. In consumer news, Los Angeles tops the list of the most traffic congested cities in the world. A study by transportation analysis experts at INRIX found traffic congestion cost drivers nearly $305 billion last year, coming out to an average of more than $1,400 per driver. Costs that could go up if fuel prices increase. 4 other U.S. cities also made the list. New York tied with Moscow for the number 2 spot. San Francisco, Atlanta, and Miami all made the top 10. The average American family spends around 5% of their budget every year on entertainment. And if you're looking to cut back on your spending and still have fun, all you need is some creativity and planning. A few ideas, excuse me, go out for lunch instead of dinner, track deals like half-price burger night or kids eat free Wednesdays. And if you love the theater, buy tickets to a preview performance. Lastly, host a potluck dinner with friends instead of an expensive night out. If you've heard the saying, money isn't everything, well, it just might be true when it comes to your job. A new survey found that employees say their perfect job isn't all about the paycheck. And 75% of professionals surveyed expect their next job to be at a different company. According to the recruitment firm Selby Jennings, it's because both employees and employers have more choices than they've ever had.
Unemployment's at historic lows. The access to information about different opportunities more widely available than ever, and there is a true war for talent out there for the absolute best people.
The majority of those surveyed say they will look at the whole package before accepting a new job, and not just the cash. Things like culture, environment, diversity, and inclusion are all factors that are much more important than ever before. The unintended fallout continues from a viral video showing a woman clearly upset about sitting next to a toddler on an airplane. ABC's Lindsay Davis has the story.
He's not going to cry the whole time.
It's the viral video viewed more than 2 million times on Facebook alone. Marissa Rundell, traveling with her 2-year-old son, pulled out her phone to record this woman, Susan Perez, complaining about her seat assignment and giving the flight attendant a hard time.
What's your name? Tabitha, 9766. Thank you, Tabitha. You may not have a job tomorrow.
I want this lady.
No, I can't. I can't, Tabitha. I have to. I apologize. Please. No.
Perez is seen apologizing to the flight attendant, but she was eventually escorted off the plane. Delta told ABC News, "We ask that customers embrace civility and respect one another while flying Delta. This customer's behavior toward a fellow customer was not in keeping with those standards." By the time the flight took off, Rundell had posted the video on Facebook. Reaction was swift. Perez's employer, the New York State Council on the Arts, launched an investigation and placed her on leave until further notice.
I'm actually stunned that it has came that far.
But this morning, Perez has an unlikely defender, the very mom who took the video. Rundell told ABC News she had no idea her profile was public and that so many people would see her post.
I started recording mainly because I just kind of thought it was comical at how she was acting.
She's now hoping that the woman won't lose her job.
I don't think she really deserved that, honestly. People keep telling me, don't feel bad, don't feel bad, don't feel bad. She deserved it. But I just don't think she did.
Lindsay Davis reporting. Still to come in your Suncoast News, what a mom in Minnesota did with her son to beat the winter blues.
Come experience the rugged capability and luxurious comfort of a new Ram truck and get big savings during Ram Truck Month at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Shop the area's largest selection of new Ram trucks. Get the all-new redesigned 2018 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $25,999. Or save big and get $13,300 off a new Ram Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. Manatee County Sheriff Rick Wells will talk about the ongoing opioid epidemic.
We'll tell you where he's set to give a year-in-review speech on drug-related crimes tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
The heat wave continues on the Suncoast as a big ridge of high pressure remains in place off our coastline. We'll have details on the forecast bright and early tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC 7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Finally today, while we're close to a record heat here on the Suncoast, this might cool you off a little bit. A Minnesota mother and her son have found a constructive way to beat the winter blues. Mel Rakowski and her son Carson were frustrated with the lack of snow they've seen this winter, so they decided to build an igloo out of ice. The pair froze more than 500 half-gallon containers filled with water and food coloring to serve as bricks for the project. Mel estimates the duo put in 40 to 50 hours of work over the course of 4 weeks to finish this igloo. Winter camping has been an annual tradition for the pair, but this is the first time they've built an entire igloo out of ice. That thing looks like it may last a while, too.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
Also, looks pretty. They did a good job.
I know.
Yeah, good engineering there.
The blue food coloring.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice stuff. That'd be fun to camp out in. I can see why they'd want to do it.
We need it here. Cool us off a little bit.
Not happening. Stay cool.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again today at 5.